There's our copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act, 1976. We're going to have a moment of silence for Brother Stephen Strufert during this intro. And I'm not sure if the intro's playing there. The first part of it was. I'm not sure if the intro's playing on your end. The camera should pop up here in a few seconds. Come on in. We're having a little moment of silence also for Stephen Strufert. And try to toggle something over here. There we go. There we are. Welcome on in. There's Gerald there. What's up? You see it right on. Thank you, Gerald. Yeah, I wasn't seeing it on my end here. That's been happening every so often. I noticed sometimes when I play because I'm able to have certain videos that are a certain size, small videos. I could have those queued up and I could have them in pads. What's up, brother William Nighthawk? Salute to you and salute to Gerald, Sharon. Good evening. A salute to Sharon as well. Yeah, we're having a little moment of silence there. I mentioned on the last stream this weekend, I got some sad news that brother Stephen Strufert, he's he was part of the Bigfoot world. A lot of people knew him. A lot of people didn't know him. Passed away, transitioned on to the next realm. Yeah, so may the mighty Lord bless his soul and rest his soul. And yeah, we'll maybe share a few memories. And I noticed Sasquatch secrets on Welcome on in, Smoochie. Boston J. Um, touched on it yesterday. Is it today? We're off. We're actually off from the shop today. So no juggling of customers and stuff like that. So I should be pretty chill during this stream. We'll see how it flows. Yeah, they shared quite a bit, and I was over there. I didn't jump in the chat because I was on duty at the shop, but I was listening in, and yeah, they also touched on several others that have transitioned this year from the Bigfoot world. So um, yeah, it's been like that throughout the time that I've been into it. There's always people transitioning, and it becomes seems like it's becoming more and more. Hear more of these folks passing on, and yeah, a lot of them, were up there in age and had been doing this a long time. And Steve was pretty young, and Steven, I knew because he was owner of Bigfoot Books in Willow Creek, California, Humboldt County. Yeah, and Willow Creek, we bring it up a lot here. Talked about how I spent some time there, lived there for about a season, and would pass through and hang out there a whole lot when I lived in Humboldt. And Willow Creek is it's a Bigfoot town. Going back to when things were first starting in that area with Roger Patterson and all that. Even before that, there was Willow Creek was like a home base. It seemed like for a lot of the old school guys that were doing this stuff in that area. And then people like Al Hodgson come up. And there's some great interviews. I had just recently, a few months, talked about some interviews. I was rewatching some interviews with Stephen Strufert and Al Hodgson, who was around during when Roger Patterson and all those folks were around. And he was like a to go to guy. He was like the guy in Willow Creek. And he owned a store at the time. And eventually that all turned into the China Flat Bigfoot Willow Creek Museum. And salute to Eric, who is now running the place and keeping that going there. But Steven Struver had Bigfoot books, and it was at the end of Willow Creek. So if you're on 299 and you're leaving Willow Creek going east, you you're at the end of town there, and then you have the Bigfoot Burger joint there where you could get your bait and tackle and all that stuff too, and get yourself a Bigfoot burger. And there's other places. I think the steakhouse might have a Bigfoot burger too there across the road. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff in Willow Creek that's Bigfoot. There's a Bigfoot motel. There's let's see, the steakhouse, Bigfoot Steakhouse. There's the Bigfoot dispensary now. Oh yeah. Get your high grade Humboldt from Bigfoot out in Willow Creek. Shout out to them. Yeah, there's several other things. There's the Bigfoot Festival, which we went to recently, and that festival's been going on for a long time. I think it might be the longest running Bigfoot festival out there. And it's fun, it's a car show. It's like all the people come off the hills or come in from the coast, a lot of locals, and it's just a good time. Vendors and all that. It's the real good Humboldt festivities for sure. And we went this recent July, and we kind of make it a point because we're in the area. We're usually in the Bluff Creek area when the it's called Bigfoot Days. And yeah, I just, Bigfoot Books was one of those spots, whenever you're driving by or in Willow Creek, and it was kind of hidden. Um, but I knew about it, and you know, would always think about it when would pass through. Or And there were several times that we did stop by. And yeah, one of the first times, I think the first time might have been with my brother. My brother might have been in town at the time. And let's check if the camera's activated. Oop, let's activate our camera here. Yeah, so my brother was in town, so that was cool. And we happened to, I don't know what we were doing in Willow Creek, but we might have had, I don't know, maybe some river time or something. Sometimes we'd drive from Southern Humboldt. Or ooh, all aboard, the train's here, folks. Get your tickets, get your luggage. Can y'all hear it this time? Let's see. Little choo-choo action. And I bring it up just in case anyone's wondering, like, what is that sound? Um, yeah, so luckily bro got to check it out. So I remember one time for sure with my brother, we went into Bigfoot books, and Steve was there. And at this time, I don't know if I had already seen the movie. Anyone seen the movie Willow Creek? It's a Bigfoot movie. I recommend it. And they have Steven comes out in it. So it's funny. My brother, that's my brother's name too, Steven and Steven. Um, and yeah, Steven just had this look about him. He was just like, you know, he looked total Humboldt local, Humboldt County always has these trippy people. And I was one of them too, long locks and everything. Uh Cousin Dwarf, cousin it. Yeah, there's always, just different characters. They're everywhere, even here, LA, wherever you go, there's different looking characters. And Steven was definitely one of them. And yeah, especially did great in that movie. And so that time it was, I think, might have been my first time in there. And what's up, Andy? I purchased. I was on the whole David Politis trip, and he had several books. There's so many books in there. It was crazy. It was like just an archive of all types of stuff. It wasn't only Bigfoot. Um, and yeah, he luckily he had those. So I think it was the Hoopa project that I purchased there, and I want to say it might have been Tribal Bigfoot, maybe, but I definitely got the Hoopa project there, and just Hoopa is right up the road from there, from Willow Creek. So it's super cool that he had those books there. But at the time, I don't think he was too excited, and but he treated us well. We didn't get any bad vibes or any negative, you know, remarks from him or anything. And I was just interested in Politis's work, and I think he shared some information because he was Politis was around that area around that time, or a little before that. And so he, I'm sure he probably ran into him, and who knows what we talked about, but it was a moment that I remember there. And I think I might have stopped by several other times. Definitely passed by it many, many times. And just unfortunate how all that ended there. And another time I remember uh hanging out with Steven was I think it was the and I get them confused because there was two times where there was these events held there at Willow Creek, and one was for the final, I think it was the finale for Finding Bigfoot, and they had the whole Bigfoot crew out there, Moneymaker, Bobo. Oh no, I don't know if Bobo I saw at that one, but it was Moneymaker, Renee, uh Cliff, that whole gang, and I believe it was uh Dr. Matthew Johnson was also there, which I know Steven and him, weren't the best of friends, but nothing ever happened. And I knew at that time, and I was like, "Uh-oh." But and I was cool with both, and I even took pictures. I took pictures with everyone, said what's up, chopped it up a little bit. Even I think Bob Gimlin was at that one. And but then I get it confused because there was that event, and then there was what was the other one? The 50th anniversary for the Patterson Gimlin film, which they had a conference that went all crazy, and that was over on the coast in Eureka. And we've talked about that, and I was a yeah, I was confused that day, but I made it out, was able to get in, and some things happened even afterwards that were kind of weird. But yeah, we ended up all going to a local bar, hung out, and yeah, a lot of interesting characters there. Henry May, Henry May and I were hanging out, drinking some brews, and yeah, everyone was hanging out there. It was cool. It was a good time. But then there was an event for that conference over at Willow Creek, I believe, also. So I get kind of those two mixed up, and I think, yeah, it's weird, but yeah, I remember seeing Steven at that, and and I remember one time him also telling me, when was it? But he brought it to my attention. He's like, "Hey, someone is basically stealing like your YouTube videos and like reposting them on a separate channel." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's weird." I had no idea Steven was checking out my videos, and at that time, this was a long time ago. Most of my stuff is crappy, and yeah, I was just like, "Oh," kind of like, damn, Steve's been watching my stuff, but it was cool that he told me that, so he gave me the heads up on that. I never found out who or where, where that channel was, but I remember that. And then one of the last times, I'm sure there's some other things, and I'm probably not remembering, but one of the last times was last year when we went up to Bluff Creek, and and I forget what day it was, but we had, I think, gone down for the Bigfoot Days Festival, and they had convinced Stephen Strufert to come up. So I don't know if it was Damon Irons who gave him a ride back up the hill. Someone gave him a ride back up the hill, and I guess he hadn't been up in a while. And so we all hung out, and this was over at the cell site. If you're familiar with the area, you know what I'm talking about. Um, and we all hung out there for a bit. It was nighttime, and eventually everyone ended up crashing out. And Steven Struford and I ended up hanging out till like past 3:30 in the morning, and I was just like tripping out. I was like, "What the heck? I'm up here." And I always trip out. Whoever I'm with up there is just like, "Here we are at this place," and it's us, you know, and whatever. And so yeah, it was just him and I towards the end of that night. And yeah, we shut it down. I think I don't know if he ended up just falling asleep right there, and I just went to my tent or truck. But yeah, that was the last time I seen him. So it was a good time. You know, we got to talk about a lot of things, and yeah, so just some memories there. What's up, Roger? How you doing, man? Elder Medicine Bear Claw, welcome on in, sharing some memories. And see, I do have something. I did find a little something. I didn't really keep in touch with Steven like that. You know, most of the other guys that get together, the Bluff Creek guys, they definitely did. He had his own. I know he did a lot of stuff online. But funny, well, I don't know if it's funny, but it was interesting to me and kind of I had a chuckle because it's another memory, a recent one, and it was like one of the only times I think few times I had noticed Steven online, and it was recent. I want to say it might have been like last year or a couple years, yeah, a year or two ago. And I got a notification. It was another YouTube channel, and I jumped on. They were live, and it was like maybe 1 in the morning or so. And I see it's this other channel, and it's Steven Strufert, and Steve's there, kind of rolling some joints and stuff, and but they're having an argument and they're just going at it back and forth. And then started I started noticing other familiar people in the chat, and we're yeah, I was like kind of shocked. I didn't know what was going on, and you hear a lot of stories like that of Steven, and I think it's cool. He held his ground. He had his beliefs, and we all change our beliefs and have our ways. We all process this Bigfoot stuff in life differently, and yes, enough respect to him. And I was gonna share for those that aren't familiar with who he was. I did find some Facebook page here. There you can see. Actually, check out this book, y'all. I posted a video of this one. We were hanging with the homie Dustin Severs at Bluff Creek, and he's got this book out. It's a new book, I believe. Got to get myself a copy still. The Abominable Snowman of California. And Dustin and I have a connection because we stay very close to each other when I'm up in Oregon. Haven't seen him around when I'm up there, but yeah, let's see. There's a picture of Steve. Hopefully this pulls up, and there's Steven there. So some of you might be more familiar with by looking at him. And Urso, aloha. Let's see. Fall asleep at the campsite by default. Your Bigfoot and Dogman Bay. Yeah, especially if you got the grill going, you know. And yeah, that's him. I don't know if this might be a clip from the Willow Creek movie. Actually, it looks like could be wrong. And yeah, thought I'd share that. See here, we do what up have Woo Reezy in the house. I see you. What up? Bless up, man. What's for dinner tonight? Hope you're having a good one. Have you been cooking those dinners, Woo Reezy? I'm speaking to Woo Riders DG here in the chat. Yeah. So talking Bigfoot, some more Bigfoot since we started off with that. Um, yeah, we got a couple reports, and you know what? I should check. I should do this. I have my iPad here, and I could use it like as a monitor. I don't know if that'll. I know it'll pull more on the stream, and I'm not directly plugged in to the Ethernet. I guess how you say it, right? So I'm off. I'm doing like off the Wi-Fi, but I'm thinking if I pull up the iPad and pull up the stream also, I could keep an eye on any like anything going on in the chat because I can see the chat here, but I don't see anything else that may be going on. Like any YouTube stuff. I don't think it pops up here. So I noticed so if anyone's think I might have noticed maybe some super chats or something like that. Something's been going on. So much love to those who have been showing support. Thank you. And also the yeah, if I need to hand out some wrenches or whatever, I could do that. But I was gonna say also the moderators, y'all could keep an eye on anything like that. You know, you notice anyone super chat or anything or anything weird that you're like, oh, we need to get this troll out of here. You know, swing that wrench. So let's pull up the. All right, cool. So now I can see the chat over here. Hopefully that doesn't make the stream choppy because I would imagine that that affects things. I also have my phone set up here just in case there's any breaking news. And there has been quite a bit of news since we talked about the fog and everything on, I think it was Friday or something, or when Saturday did we go live last? Um, barbecue. Oh, y'all talking munchies in the chat already? Has someone been that sounds like a meal there. What up, Jeff? Yeah, no, there's been quite a bit of news. We last talked I think maybe it was this weekend and we were talking about the fog and you know, and it's still lurking out there. We can have a look. Um Pull up this live view of downtown LA. See what I'm talking about here. See all that funk. Doesn't look too clear. And yeah, that stuff's at night is really when it, you know, sets in. So maybe with whatever it is that's being sprayed and then the actual natural um marine layer and all that, it's just been coming in extra thick. Could be Val. Cheers to you. See my throat's on. I gotta clear it up. Drink some been drinking my ACV shots and been getting my detox on actually. Still intake, you know, it's about to be 4:20 in about 3 minutes. Actually got it. I got myself going a little bit earlier than that just in case we were going to go live. And even if we're live, you know, I don't mind firing one up and get the clouds going, get the everyone in the chat going with the munchies, talking about mac and cheese and barbecue ribs. Hey, cornbread. I'm with it. Let's see. So yeah, we're having a look at downtown LA from the east side of things, is it looking at like this out your way, Jeff, out in the OC? Oh, I bet you are, Jeff. Looks a lot better than it did in the 80s. Yeah, but I think they're putting some new stuff out there than the 80s. This is not I don't think this is a mixture of everything. Smog, uh, and the stuff we talk about, they're putting out. We won't get into the sky farts, we call it. Where's our yes. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But anyway, we were talking about this. So I was like, keep an eye out because I don't know what this fog is doing. It could be making people act weird. I don't know. And I was inquiring if it's happening in other places, but it seems like California is the place right now, Central Valley, the radiation fog out there. And we're reading some articles about that and we're getting that out here in LA. I don't know if they're calling it radiation fog, but it's been thick. And so I'm like, all right, they're doing this again. And it was about a year ago already, coming on to a year. We talked about the New Year's last year when it came in super thick. And that seemed to have been in a lot of places throughout the planet. So whatever it is, I don't know. So I was keeping an eye out this weekend. We had a bunch of fog. My brother's voice got really bad. He was outside in it. And and I don't know, just there's been bad news coming up, a lot of bad news. What is it? The Brown incident locally here. Another, it's almost like OJ vibes again out here in LA. Another incident out in Brentwood, and condolences to the Reiner family. Sure, y'all heard about that. That's making sure international news. And the Australian incident. They had a thing go down out there, and what was it? I think even here in California, I don't know. Yeah, I want to say here in California, they supposedly unfoiled. Uh, they were planning some sort of something not good for the New Year's. So a heads up out there, the New Year's, and I know it's fun to go out and go to places, but I don't know. I've been doing the low key thing for several years now, so um and even last year with the fog, that must have been creepy just being out, you know, in places. And yeah, with the Hollywood thing, the Hollywood situation, it's just yeah, here they got the son arrested is the last I heard. And yeah, I've been hearing some of the details and it's not good. And yeah, we get into the occult out here, what's going on in Hollywood. We're hearing a lot more on social media. A lot of it sounds really far out, but you'd be surprised. I think there's a lot of truth to some of the stuff that's being exposed and having light shone onto. And yeah, it's not all. Yeah, it's all. It's not. I was gonna say it's not all something, but it's all. Like magic, the Hollywood. That's what the right. That's what they use to. The wizard uses to do his magic, cast spells and stuff like that. So a lot of illusions and then you could see, y'all know how LA has been the past few years, and it's happening all over the place too. It's not only here, and yeah, we all got to take care, watch out, stay blessed up, stay prayed up. And what's up, Forest friend? Let's see. Urso says, a friend and I grew up knowing confessed to the OJ thing, but cops didn't believe him, put him to death this year in March. Yeah, I had got into quite a bit of that recently. I seen some documentaries and stuff that were really interesting, and it was a trip. I think I've shared this before. When all that happened, I remember the chase. I was in Glendale, California, not too far from here, and at that same time when we were watching the chase, two kids were playing with something they shouldn't have, and one of them ended up not here anymore. And that happened down the block from where we were. So we ran over to go see that scene, which was big for Glendale. Glendale doesn't get that type of stuff. And I remember that happened. But here we got the train coming again. And unless we in case we missed anyone, or unless someone got off it and forgot to get on the last train, here's the next one. All aboard, folks. Yeah, I really wish the mic would pick it up clearly because it is loud. Anyone get a train going by your place? And so yeah, so after the OJ, uh, all that all that happened. People were gathering. Of course, the media were gathering not only at where the scene was, but outside of OJ's place. It was a zoo, right? And but we went as a family. Yeah, my brother, my sister, my mom, and we went to go check out, yeah, the scene and the house and the media and all the stuff that was going on. And yeah, it's just part of growing up out here. I think when things like that happen and they're so close by, you tend to, I don't know, check it out. For me, I like to go check things like that out, especially historical stuff as well, even new stuff. But yeah, so I remember that for sure from that case, but, yeah, I'm sure the same thing is happening right now. I'm sure a lot of, media outside of the house there and all that, and it happened in the same they both in Brentwood, if I'm not mistaken, so that's interesting as well. Yeah, there's several connections off the bat that I thought of that were, like, kinda similar, but I'm not saying they're have anything to do with each other, but it's interesting. What else? Yeah, Brown situation. I guess they're still looking for somebody. They had nabbed someone, but I guess let them go. And I guess I don't know. Last I heard, was there a couple fatalities there. It seems like more and more every week. Like these school situations, like not safe to go to school at all, no matter what grade. Um, University, college, elementary, high school. It's all seems very dangerous these days out here, and it's scary stuff. What up to anyone watching on any of the different platforms? We got a nice little crowd hanging here in YouTube. Feel free to come through and chop it up. I recently got someone, he was like, "Hey, are you on Twitch?" I was like, "Actually, I am, but I don't think anyone watches there." He's like, "Well, I'll watch." He's like, "Yeah." Like, I'm not really a YouTuber. I'm more into Twitch. So if you're live over there, I'll check you out. So he gave me a follow, which I appreciate, and had a fun conversation with that guy. See, let's get out of this city here for now. Got some other stuff lined up here. There are some, of course, Bigfoot reports, which I get excited reporting to you about. Hopefully, you enjoy them. And yeah, there's a couple of them added to the Bigfoot mapping project. But before that, was there something else? See, I wanted to touch on before getting into that. So we talked about some news there. All right, let's get into these reports. Why not? Bigfoot mapping project. And welcome on into anyone popping up right now. Let's see. Do the circle. Yeah, why not? Let me close this here. So all these blue dots we've been reading lately on the live streams. If interested, feel free to check them out, peep them out, share them out to someone who might be interested. So, and we have a couple of new green dots, which are the newer reports. And then there's these orange ones that I'm thinking we already touched on. I'm thinking the orange ones are probably the older ones. So they start green, and I think after 7 days or so, or a certain amount of days, they turn blue. And from blue, I think it's after 10 days or so. You could all check this out on the map or at the website. They turn orange. And then these yellow ones down here in like South America, Mexico, and on down to South America and different parts of the planet, I believe are like historical reports. Yeah, I haven't noticed any like green dots on any of the other countries really, other than Canada up above. And what up, Jonocide? Cheers to you, bro. Let's see. Just got home from the job. Oh, nice, man. Yeah, well, kick off kick off the boots and let the big feet chill, bro. We're gonna get into it here. Read some of these reports. See here. All right. So back up in Washington, and Washington's just been non-stop. It's awesome. No wonder they're number one. Maybe the Bigfoot's got something going on there, going on over to Canada and back and forth. They don't need passports. So this is 12/24/12. So several years back. And we'll see if this is for real. It says 12:15 a.m. And it says on the height here, it says -5. So that maybe they meant 5 feet. Maybe that little dash means 5 feet. And no other information on the other categories there. It says I was heading home after helping a friend getting things ready for Xmas Day. It was around, oh, this is perfect for the season. Should have some jingles playing in the back. It was around midnight and just starting to snow. First snow of the season. I was riding my spree scooter, so I took the back roads home about 7 miles to my place. I'm cruising up Newman Road and see this black hairy animal hunched over in the middle of the road. We hear that a lot also, either on the side of the road or in the middle of the road. Take them notes of those themes, folks. So I thought a dog eating roadkill. So I swerved to the left to go around it, and it turned and lunged at me, almost knocking me off my scooter. Yikes. And I think we both scared the crap out of each other. For years, I wouldn't ride at night or even go for a walk at night. I won't go in the woods alone, day or night. I believe what I saw was a swamp ape. Interesting, out of Washington. There's an earth sanctuary right where this occurred that was a pond that has a pond. So maybe. Okay, got that. So there was an earth sanctuary right where this occurred that has a pond. So maybe. A swamp ape. Nah, well, Bigfoot likes I think they like water. We hear a lot of water connections, whether it be the ocean, rivers, lakes, and the color was black. I wonder if the maybe interesting that they mentioned swamp ape. You hear maybe something like that out of Florida, right? Or Louisiana. Not so much Washington or the West Coast there, but cool report nonetheless. And we're gonna cruise on over to looks like very near Ohio here. Yep, we up in Ohio. So Dayton looks like a nearest big city or town there. And I see a little Miami State Park above this report here. It says 51416, no height, sex, or vocalization. And it says we had our annual fishing camp out every May at Camp Birch. This year, me and my buddy, Mark, were the two oldest boys there. We fished well into Friday night for catfish and caught about 7 good channel cats. We put them on a fish basket and tied the basket off with a rope around a tree about 30 yards from our tent. Mm. The next morning, always leave a fish out for Bigfoot, right? The next morning, we were going to fish some more, but when we went to get our basket, it was gone. Yoink. The rope and everything was just gone. We asked the other boys if they had hit it, and they all said they were asleep by the time we got back. We were also the only scout group in the whole camp that weekend. The only possible conclusion I have is that something with hands untied the rope from the tree and the basket and all the fish in it into the woods. Let's see. So it says so they believe something with hands untied the rope from the tree, and it says and the basket. It's a little stutter there. I used to stutter back in the day. Had it for a little while. Basket and all the fish in it into the woods. So we never heard any commotion around our tent that night either, which was strange. So, did Bigfoot yoink that basket? I would think so. Sounds like something squatchy, something Bigfoot would do, right? And there's Dragonfly. Good evening to you. Megan Fox, to you as well. Cheers, ladies. Val, ching ching. Just reading a couple Bigfoot reports here. And that's the second one. So these are they're throwbacks, but freshly submitted to the site. And so they're fresh to me, and hopefully they're fresh to you. Funky fresh is how we like to keep it, or at least Bigfoot does. And yeah, since we're on a little bit of a roll here, got a couple reports in. Maybe we should cruise on over to let's see what else we got. Let's head on over to Bigfoot Society's website here. I got one ready to go out of Humboldt County since we were just discussing Humboldt in the beginning of the stream. Eel River. Very familiar with the Eel River. And a lot of my videos are out of the Eel River. I make it a thing to pass by through that area. And one of the areas is the
Avenue of the Giants.
yes, the Avenue of the Giants and the Eel River snakes through there. We talked about reports and stuff from there, and that's right up. We've talked about the 101 reports out of Soham, Southern Humboldt, and the Eel River snakes all through that area there too. My first sighting up the hill from the Southern Humboldt reports, Eel River's not too far, just down the hill. And it snakes all the way up the county a bit. And there's been others like Michael Rugg, owner of the Bigfoot Museum, and I believe it's no longer. It's been on and off that museum as well. It's tough for these guys. We got to support these like places like Bigfoot Books when they were around, or and Michael Ruggs Museum, Willow Creek, China Flat Museum, and there's new places opening up, in different areas, and yeah, they need our help. Um, and so yeah, his first sighting he talks about was along the Eel River there. So let's see what this report says here. Again, Bigfoot Society. Thank you, Jeremiah. And this is dated June 11th. Location near Eel River, south of Humboldt County. All right. So maybe on the Mendocino side of things, could be. I've talked about the reggae festival, Reggae on the River. That's right along that area, right? On the Humboldt Mendocino border there. And yeah, so let's see California along Highway 101. Taking notes, folks. Here goes the 101 theme again. Witness Witnesses Rebecca, husband, two children, ages 14 and 4. At approximately 6:15 a.m., the witnesses observe a large, upright, dark-colored figure walking along the riverbank parallel to the roadway. Hear that quite a bit. Figure displayed. All right, we're getting messages in. The figure displayed long arms and long fluid strides consistent with known Sasquatch reports. No facial detail observed due to the distance and elevation, the 14-year-old daughter exclaimed upon sighting. Corroborating the event, the husband also identified it verbally as Sasquatch. The witness reported an electric atmosphere. Ah, and I have heard this before, not much, but I've heard it recently. I think it was with possibly Dr. Simeon Hine, and I'm subscribed to his channel now, and I was checking him out on his last live stream. Yeah, I like his work, and oh my god, the phone's blowing up here. Let's see. There we go. Silent button. Thank you. Yeah, very interesting detail there. An electric atmosphere, heightened emotion, and a sensation of being allowed to see the creature. And I have heard that before. Status confirmed multi witness visual encounter. Classification Class A. Daylight sighting episode 945. So I'm sure if you head over to Bigfoot Society, you could probably dig that up either on the website or possibly even on the YouTube page. And here you could see on the map where it's lit up. You have the near one of the nearest town is Tuna Town. Yeah, the town of Fortuna, California, which means fortune in Spanish. And yeah, very familiar with Fortuna. Uh, Granny used to have or we still do, I believe. Gotta double check, but there's a cabin of ours that we have off Highway 36. I've talked about along the Van Duzen River, and no big, and it's right under the redwoods. It's a perfect spot. You walk right behind the cabin, and the river is right there. But no, I have not had any experiences there. I've done videos out of there, and they're private cabins. They're like summer cabins. I haven't had any sightings or anything major happen there, and I've tried a lot. But some of the cabin neighbors have a big Bigfoot cutout. So I've always had been curious. And I've like I said, I've done videos out of there, probably short ones. That's where that little rabbit died. Have you ever seen that video? I didn't know what it was. It was something floating in the water. And when I realized it, it was a little bunny and it was drowning. And by the time I got to it, it was time to transition. And yeah, I was bummed out about that because I would have gotten in there and saved it. I just wasn't sure what it was. I didn't want to just go in there and grab whatever was splashing around. And so that's that area there. And it's a perfect spot. They gotta go through there, I think. I just probably haven't spent enough time there. And yeah, I got a lot of interesting stories from that particular area there. Uh got gifted a nice chunk of elk for Christmas there one time. And salute to the firefighter who did that, one of our neighbors in that area. It's an amazing gift and just shows how folks are out that way, Goes goes both ways. You can meet the bad ones or the really good ones. And the really good ones, I thank goodness those are the people I usually run into and hang out with up that way. And they've all been amazing. Much love to everyone up that way. Love it up that way. Who wants to go up that way? Where we going? We're going up that way. You drove 299 last year, got stuck in yeah, a lot of construction on 299. Construction tool for 4 hours. Yeah, I believe it. A lot of those highways are like that. Because they get the slides, a lot of slides. I don't know if it's I would imagine the rest of the Pacific Northwest is very similar, A lot of hills, slides, rock slides. And California is just known for the bad roads, and Humboldt County is no exception. Um, yeah, so cool Fortuna report there. Let's not forget we could drop the man. Last live stream, I apologize. I was trying to drop the man. We are checking out the Google map and we were getting into the Eaton Fire area here in these mountains behind me. And I accidentally pressed. Oh, I see. There's a button here. Well, it could be. That's for phone calls. It says leave. But I did not push the stop button. But whatever I did stopped the stream all of a sudden. And yeah, that was a bummer. It was a squirrely stream. I started off with the robot voice and yeah, also look, now you get all of a sudden y'all got balloons. I don't know how I didn't whatever. Just don't suck on those balloons, folks. Enjoy them, but don't consume them. All of a sudden we got balloons. So our camera effects are working. Usually I try to activate the camera for some effects sometimes and it doesn't do it on cue, Mr. Camera. Yes. Anyway, let's also check out, let's see, we got some more California stuff. There's the Washington Bigfoot website, but Bigfoot Encounters website, they have this list here of just California reports, and I keep bringing this website up. I think we have touched on a couple reports from it, but not this whole list here. And there's a lot of them that are getting me excited just looking at the location. And we'll just get into this one right quick. Inyo County. Oh, right here. Yeah, Inyo County. We Inyo County, says Bigfoot. Um, and we're gonna get into a particular mountain in a minute here that has been brought up in the news. We're gonna get into some missing persons cases before we leave y'all. So hang tight if you're into this type of stuff. Let's see here. So Inyo County or Inyo National Forest, August 4th, 1996 at 10. So in the morning, women campers, interesting, on East Lake reported a large bipedal creature, 8 to 9 feet tall, dark, moving swiftly up on a ridge above the lake level, approximately 300 yards from where they were. So sounds like a Bigfoot doing the ridge walk there. We what's up, Deadfish? Welcome on in. Man, I've been enjoying Deadfish. He's a content creator as well. So feel free to jump in the chat and give him a follow. And anyone else there creating content, let us know. Like to peep it out. Let's see. I-5, I'm thinking Jonacide is saying here. Construction from Seattle to San Diego. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I remember encountering too much on the I-5 here and there, but yeah, they got to be out there fixing those roads. Has anyone reported one coming up to them? It seems they always run. Yeah, and that's something I've heard people have brought up and was brought up recently also, is that maybe is there, if they are like the Nephilim or demonic or whatever, because there is that possibility still in my world. They could be not only wild animals, but they could be some wild demon or sort of wild Nephilim giant. I keep all those options open. And they were saying something along the lines, I think that, like, I don't know if it's in the Bible somewhere or something like that, that like certain beings like that, these negative beings that like aren't allowed to like look at us really. And so they were tying that back to like Bigfoot and them always like turning away. Even like Patty when she was walking away, that famous look, that turnover, like just a quick glance, but they, keep going. And some of them will describe, you know, they're described as being shy also. You'll hear that. So shy but dangerous. Watch out. But yeah, I can see that. And a lot of times in descriptions on how they move and what they're doing seems to be another thing we've brought up is the swaying back and forth that people talk about, between something, either trees or a stump or something, the peaking. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting things that come up. Uh, yeah. All right. So a little California report there, little short one. There's many more we could get into eventually. So stay tuned. And let's see. All right, let's get into this. I think this missing person case will be a good one. And I just wanted to tie in anything that I think I got most of the end of that last live stream where it cut off, where I cut it. Um, I was talking about Steve Isdall having a report sent in to him from these mountains behind us. I was tying in several things, a report from Bigfoot encounters, all coming from this particular area here. And there was another one I was going to bring up, and maybe I'll bring it up later, but I was just, putting those dots out there and seeing maybe if some connect. And yeah, I think some are starting to connect a bit, and we'll continue bringing up any more reports or any updates from these local areas here. And but yeah, I wanted to get into I heard about this recent missing persons case out of California. We talk about these types of cases, especially the more bizarre and strange ones. And there's been many just from California this year that we touched on, and still no updates. They have not been found. And maybe later this month, we'll do a recap just to see if there has been anything new with those cases. And this recent one here came to my attention, and it's a YouTube channel. It's Brian's Mysteries and Adventures, I believe it is. And it's a cool channel. They touch on a lot of reports, and his delivery is it's unique. It's not for everyone, but so it came to my attention, and it was out of Mount Whitney. And I was like, whoa, all right, Mount Whitney. I've never been there, but been talking a whole lot about we talk a lot about the Sierras here a whole lot. Been talking about it lately, and it comes up a lot. Some of it Bigfoot related, some of it strange happenings, missing persons, and all that. And so definitely got my attention. And Mount Whitney, I don't know if any of you know or are familiar or have ever been to Mount Whitney or around it. I know my brother's been talking about hiking it. He's got a great hiking buddy, and they've hit a lot of places out here. and they've been building their way uh, to get to Mount Whitney. And what's up, Gustavo? Bienvenidos. And so let's get a little info on Mount Whitney here because it is interesting, and you don't really hear much about it. At least I don't, but I know it's there. You got to acknowledge it because it's not your average mountain. And see here, see what Wiki says. So it says Mount Whitney and Tumanguya. I like that name too. Tumanguya is a mountain in the Sierra Nevada mountain range of California and the highest point in the contiguous United States. Notes, folks. Interesting, right? The highest point in the contiguous United States with an elevation of 14,505 feet, 4,421 meters. It lies in east central California on the boundary between Inyo and Tulare or Tulare. I like to call it Tulare. Someone correct me if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Counties and 84.6 miles west northwest of North America's lowest topographic point, which is Badwater Basin in Death Valley National Park at 282 feet below sea level. The mountain's west slope is in the Sequoia National Park. Sequoia, Kings Canyon comes up, Yosemite National Park, whenever you mention sequoias. And the summit is the southern terminus of the John Muir Trail, which runs 211 to 11.9 miles or 341 kilometers for Happy Isles or Happy Islands in Yosemite Valley. The eastern slopes are in Inyo National Forest or Inyo County. Telling you, we Inyo County. Mount Whitney is ranked 18th by topographic isolation and 81st by prominence on Earth. So just some interesting factoids there on Mount Whitney. Let's see if we could get oh, there she is. Wow. Look at that. Okay, no joke there, folks. That's some serious mountain there. And so we're gonna go ahead and pull up the case that came to my attention. All right. Let's see here. I believe it's gonna be LA Times. Here we go. So LA Times here is reporting, let's see, a young hiker has been missing for a month on Mount Whitney. Our time and hope running out. And I believe this is a video as well. We could give it a shot. I've been hesitant about playing videos because some of the last videos we're playing were echoing. We'll give this a shot. We're gonna put a little audio and check this out, folks. So here we go. Let's see here. Rewind.
A 21-year-old hiker, Joseph Brambila, who grew up in Los Angeles County, has been missing on Mount Whitney for about a month. It's
So 21-year-old folks, very, very young. And we were all 21 at once, right?
not clear at all what happened. A fellow solo hiker who met him on the summit on November 11th told us that it was getting pretty cold.
November 11th, up in the Sierras. And I heard also that the PCT doesn't go through Whitney, but it's nearby. So a lot of hikers do go and check it out.
And they were both a little bit concerned about the dwindling daylight. So Brambila told him he was going to try to save some time by sliding down a 1,500-foot snow slope on his butt. That's
And I forget the term, but there's a term for this. Maybe some of the mountain hikers, if any, are in the chat. Uh, there was I forget on the tip of my tongue, but there's a certain word for this, and I guess mountain hikers do this to save time. And I heard mention that he would like purposely not bring certain supplies like emergency blankets and different things. And in this one, he knew he needed an ice pick and still didn't bring one along. Hearing a lot of different details like that, which yeah, risky stuff.
actually a pretty well-known mountaineering technique. It's called glissading. And Brambila
Glissading. All right, getting my notes here. You know what? I'm gonna have to get one of those giant pens here soon, or giant pencils. Glissading.
that had learned to glissade at that very spot in June earlier this year. And he posted a video to YouTube of himself learning to do it. In the video, you can see he was pretty nervous.
So he was a YouTuber. I'm not sure of his channel. Maybe someone. I'm sure someone will figure it out, and I'm sure his channel's probably getting a lot more traffic right now. Um, yeah, YouTuber. So yeah, I'd be interested in checking out his posts.
And he was mostly nervous because he didn't have all the right equipment. And the main thing he didn't have was a ice axe. It's what you use sort of as a brake to prevent yourself from just rocketing out of control. But the snow is so warm and so soft, he's able to just dig his heels into the snow and slow himself down, and everything is fine. If he tried that again in November, it's very likely that the snow would have been much harder and much faster. And the hiker who met him, once again, he didn't have an ice axe. He had a hatchet, like a garden hatchet, which wouldn't have been a very good substitute. We still have no idea what happened to Joseph. A few days after his family reported him missing, other hikers spotted a body kind of nearby in the similar slope. Authorities have tried searching in the air and on foot, but have had no luck. And they've warned that there's been so much snow in the area that if Joseph is still up there, they may not be able to recover him until the spring thaw.
All right. Uh Doc, salute to you. Welcome on in. Caught the mute button there. So yeah, hopefully that didn't echo on your end there. Rescue might want to check out Mountain Fishers. Welcome on in, B Mora. Barbara. The glissade noun or verb, a movement where something slides smoothly, usually downhill or along a surface, says Dead Fish Cheese Spread. And yeah, so I'm just prayers for him. Hopefully he's found, and hopefully, he's not found, that he's found safe. He hasn't been found. Hopefully, you never know. We had a recent case out of the Sierras where that hunter went missing. I think, what was it, 20 days or so? Got caught in snow as well, and he made it out alive. So there's always a chance. And there was that weird case with the young black lady out in the Sierras who also supposedly got stuck in a storm, but that case got really fishy, and we did follow up on that. And so and that's all 2025. Um yeah, I don't know. I just think not having the proper tools is so risky, and we talk about that here, and other channels do talk about it. Of course, um,
David Politis.
always mentions about the safety things, having the you know transponder, the Garmin GPS device, um, having a firearm. What else? And the extra ammo, emergency blankets, letting people know where you're going, what time you're going to be back. There's these precautions, proper precautions, and yeah, just doesn't sound good. And but still, prayers to his family, and hopefully they get closure soon. Just saw a short where a guy is skiing along, uh and luckily launches it across a huge fissure and makes it. Whoa, yeah. I recently seen, I think it was over on the Red Bull channel. Uh it was a skier that skied, I think it was K2, might have been the K2, one of these huge mountaintops, or it might have been Everest, one of those. And it was gnarly. It was pretty intense stuff. And I think there's someone that didn't make it recently too, right? Is there something like that that happened? I think. I hope it's not another. Oh yeah, yep, yeah. And we've talked about Julian Sand's case, and that's right here, Mount Baldy, not too far. And actually, so usually we're talking about Mount Baldy. Today we're bringing up Mount Whitney, and so I wanted to just share several other tragic stuff that's happened on this mountain just this year. So, and you would think so with it being the you know tallest mountain. They describe the height and everything, and let's see here. So it might not be in order. I'll try to keep it in order. See here. So I have another article here by the Trek, and it says here, missing hiker found dead on Mount Whitney. And let's see if we could get a date on this. January 9th, 2025, Katie Jackson, Pacific Crest Trail. And it says many have closely followed the search and rescue mission for Taylor Rodriguez, a 29-year-old hiker from San Antonio, Texas, who went missing on Mount Whitney in late December. Sadly, the search ended in tragedy when his body was discovered on January 4th near Upper Boy Scout Lake at an elevation of around 12,000 feet. So I guess that happened in the year previous. His body was found the following year. Like they said, I'm sure when things thawed out. And it says here, here's a view, Mount Whitney, seen from Guitar Lake there. And Rodriguez had reportedly attempted to summit Mount Whitney, tallest peak in the contiguous United States, on December 30th when he failed to return. He was reported missing on January 2nd, prompting a coordinated search effort by Inyo County Search and Rescue, the Inyo County Sheriff's Office, and other supporting agencies. Rescuers located his body about half a mile from the lake, near the North Fork of Lone Pine Creek Trail. Cause of death has yet to be determined, and investigations are ongoing. That's him there. It's like a, you know, young, strong man, and no longer with us, unfortunately. Condolences to his family as well. The Mount Whitney Trail is known for its challenges, primarily due to its high altitude, which increases risks related to weather and altitude sickness in all seasons. Attempting the hike in winter amplifies the risk significantly, with freezing temperatures, icy terrain, and severe weather making the route dangerous for even experienced mountaineers. Reports from authorities suggest that Rodriguez may have been ill prepared for the conditions, lacking the necessary gear and experience to navigate the challenges of a winter ascent. Mm. This tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of preparing and decision making when venturing into the mountains. Yes, winter conditions are particularly unforgiving with rapidly changing weather that can turn a manageable hike into a life threatening situation. Proper gear, careful planning, and an awareness of one's limitations are absolutely necessary to ensure your own safety in such environments. And SAR, search and rescue. See, snow lingers in this mountains year round, and weather conditions can change quickly regardless of the forecast. Be prepared and always check the weather. That's another one, checking the weather. On the peak itself, it says here. Forget that as well if you're gonna do. And I told my brother, even today, I sent them the video. Like, bro, you make sure you know, follow the proper precautions. I was like, on top of that, just take me with you. Instead of looking at the weather in a nearby town. Yeah, no, you want the direct weather from there. It'll pop up right there. Excuse me. It's important to reflect on the choices that we have led or that may have led to this tragedy, excuse me, with empathy and understanding. Yes. Anyone who spends time in the outdoors has made errors in judgment. Yes. It's part of being human. Instead of assigning blame or assuming this could never happen to me, we should take this as a reminder of nature's unpredictability and the humility to require or the humility required to navigate it. Sorry. Recognizing that no one is infallible is crucial in the backcountry, and it serves no purpose to critique others' decisions from the safety of home without turning that same scrutiny onto your own choices. Our deepest condolences go out to Rodriguez's family and friends during this heartbreaking time. If you'd like to support Inyo County Search and Rescue, the team that conducted an exhaustive week-long search for Rodriguez under difficult conditions, you can donate, and there's a link there. Yes, super sad, and we're gonna skip on over to this uh, next one. So we got another one here, and welcome to anyone popping into the stream here. And this one is a hiker, a teacher who changed lives, falls to his death on Mount Whitney. This is the San Francisco Chronicle, dated updated July 14th, 2025. It says here Washington State high school teacher, beloved for his dedication to education and the arts, fell to his death on the first day after he set out to hike the John Muir Trail from Mount Whitney to Yosemite National Park. Harris Levinson, who taught American Studies and Theater at Vashon High School for 2 decades, planned to start his hike on June 23rd from Whitney Portal, and he left the food resupply cache at Onion Valley, which he planned to pick up on June 29th, according to the Inyo County Sheriff's Department. By July 8th, however, his food cache had still not been picked up, prompting a friend of Levinson to contact Sequoia Kings Canyon National Park, which initiated a search using helicopters from the California Highway Patrol Office of air operations in Inyo National Forest. Levison's car was located at Whitney Portal, and his body was found approximately 9,400 feet in the North Fork of Lone Pine Creek. And did Lone Pine Creek come up in any of the last reports we just read? I have a feeling. Maybe it could have been that I was briefly scanning through this, but apparently the victim of a fatal fall, according to the sheriff's office. He was 61. He had fallen 100 feet off a ledge on a treacherous section of terrain just 2 miles into his trip, according to a July 11 post by his friend Carrie McCarthy on Carnage Bridge, an online platform to share information about the well being of loved ones. It says, for reasons we don't fully understand, he was hiking the climber's route up Mount Whitney, McCarthy wrote. Unlike the main John Muir Trail, this path is treacherous and difficult and not very well traveled. And that sounds like what happened with the Sands case, also, is what I got from it last. Um, Folks who connected with him in his final days report that he was joyful, eager, friendly, and full of appreciation for his life and the opportunity to go on this adventure, she wrote. In other words, he was Harris. A profile in the Vatian Maury Island Beachcomber newspaper said Levinson was widely known and beloved on Vashon for his remarkable work as a teacher, youth mentor, theater maker. Former students and their parents, stunned by Levinson's sudden death, expressed their gratitude for his contributions to the community on social media. I've heard it said that it only takes one person to change the course of a life, said Anne Atwell, whose daughter Kate graduated from Vashon High. Harris was that person for many years. And it goes on a little more there. So yeah, very, very sad stuff, dangerous stuff. And there's more. We got this out of the National Park Service. And let's see. Let's have a look here. So hiker fatality on Mount Whitney in Sequoia National Park. And this is October. Oh, this is way back. Thought we had one from 2025 here. That's 2023. But then, again, these things happen yearly. And let's go here. Let's see. People Magazine. This was another one. Now, I don't know. This one might be one that um, there was one recent, and I do believe it was Mount Whitney. It was out of this year, and someone close to me, a friend of mine, good friend of mine, and he pops in here every once in a while. Uh, might have known, or might have had some sort of connection to one of these cases. But this is People Magazine. Dad of two falls to his death on Mount Whitney. Mother Nature is cruel, says sister. And this is November 2nd, 2025. And it says, I need to know. And there's a picture here. A dad who has died after falling while climbing Mount Whitney, one of the tallest mountains in the United States. The victim has been identified as 29-year-old. So another, 20 range, young guys. Paul P.J. Ortiz Jr. Condolences to his family and friends. Says he was the coolest. It was my whole world, he said. His sister there. Says a dad died after falling from a trail while climbing one of the tallest mountains in the United States. Rescuers received a report of possible fatality on Mount Whitney just before 1 p.m. local time on Saturday, October 25th. According to a news release shared by California's Inyo County Search and Rescue, Inyo SAR said that report stated that a hiker had fallen from the trail and off a cliff in an area known as the 99 switchbacks off the main trail. The hiker has since been identified as 29-year-old Paul P.J. Ortiz Jr., according to USA Today and KC and KGPE. He is survived by his two sons, aged 1 and 3, as a as well as his parents and sister. He was coolest. Bummer. And yeah, the report goes on here. So it's, and I want to say there's got one more here for Mount Whitney. Let's see. Oh no, this is the Brown situation. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah, so it's possible there's more Mount Whitney cases out there that I just didn't find, but I just wanted to bring some of them along with this recent case that just came uh across my radar. So we sent in some prayers out there. Yeah, kind of a sad stream here, had some people passing and people lost, and it's life, and we're going to keep moving forward, and again staying prayed up and blessed up, and sending those vibes to you all out there as well. And thank you for hanging out. Let's see, get some of these different links out, and let's make sure I'm not forgetting anything, as I always do. Anyone got any questions, any comments? If I missed anything, let me know. You could drop a comment after on this video. Of course, squatch the like. Can we do a like, camera? How about, can we get some? There we go. How about like this? Oh, see the camera. Oh, there we go. Thank you, camera. It's about time. Make me look bad. Again, the shop. Y'all want to come shop with us? Sky's the Limit Smoke Shop, East Los Angeles, 3925 East Olympic Boulevard. Tap in with us. Sky's the Limit .la Insta. The hotline no one calls. I don't think anyone's tried calling it. Pilled. Yeah, we get pilled. We post over there. And surprisingly, people are active over there on Pilled. People check stuff out. So if you like posting stuff, you might want to check out Pilled. And if you do, check me out as well. And I usually just post a bunch of my stuff there. Every once in a while, I'll share someone else's stuff that I want to help maybe get more traction. Yeah, share that over there. We are live on Twitch. What up, Twitch? Hopefully, we got some people lurking there. Rumble as well. I know some of you rumblers are out there. Get a little bit of action over there. Hopefully, they're hanging out. They got the cool emojis to play with. I think got some fun emojis. Rumble and Kick as well. Yeah, we could kick it on Kick. Discord, yeah. Who else got a Discord? I know some of you have Discords. I didn't know. And so as soon as I find out, I go ahead and give you guys a follow over there. I try not to, I really don't bother too many people on Discord, but I do repost over there as well, things. And there I share a lot of other people's stuff. So just another avenue to get all of y'all stuff out there as well as mine. All right. Let's see. Cool, cool, cool. No questions. Thanks for throwing a wrench at me. Did you get one, Barbara? Let me make sure. I think everyone's got wrenches up in there. I didn't notice anything. Probably should have set a goal. You can set goals. See, I don't have access to any of that through Riverside FM, but if I go through YouTube, there's a bunch of little fun things you could do, set polls, right? Set goals, actually see actual activity. So I don't know, Riverside, if you're listening, is there a way to view all that stuff? I know StreamYard does a pretty good job. And you see all the other stuff that happens on YouTube, and you could probably access those things through StreamYard, I think. So Riverside has some catching up to do. I have no, but I we captured one recording, you know how we record the airplanes and stuff. I think we shared that recently. I think I have it queued up. Let's see. I might be able to play that. See on the fly. Let's see. Nope, I don't have it queued up. But thanks for reminding me. I do. Yeah, we do actually. Hang on. Dang it, dwarf. Yeah, you do have something ready. I usually have things ready to go as well. Like the weather. I forgot to show the weather. Show the weather here. See, can we change that? And these are the my towns that I'd like to check the weather for. I either live there or have was staying there or something. You got what, Garberville, LA, Garberville, Trinidad, San Francisco, Weaverville, Chico, Arcata. I don't see the one under that. Probably Boyle Heights or something. Let's see here. So we were gonna share some orb action. Glad you asked. Deadfish cheese spread. Funkiest name on YouTube. And this is from Bluff Creek this year. And I'm gonna have to make sure I mute this because there is people talking in the background. But I do think I could share some without uh sharing who was talking. But they were actually talking about their trip to Florida, and that's when the Sherry Papini case was going on. And they were staying at a park. I don't know if it was a state park or a national park, and it's I think where they got the dude, something like that. The suspect, her partner, who yeah took her life, and that was a wild one. That was what several years back. But anyway, they were talking about that in the background. Super cool people. It was a big group of people here this particular night, and this is the cell site where I was mentioning earlier, where I last hung out with Stephen Strufert till 3 in the morning. Him and I, and this is the same location here. So someone had a burner going, but it's gas. But yet there was these like no, it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't gas. Because they had gas there too. It's weird. Maybe they were using both. Maybe a fire pit and the gas thing was going, but I noticed there was like a little ashes, and they weren't embers, they were just ashes flying through the sky, and they weren't lit. And so and I was using the night vision, and I noticed that, but then there was other movement, and it looked like possibly orbs. I don't know, maybe. And then there's some bats, and then there's some other stuff. I'm gonna just go ahead and play this, and maybe you'll spot some weird stuff. So just a little heads up, there is some could be some nighthawks as well. I've learned about those birds, and they are in the area as well. And just anything else that any maybe flying squirrels, who knows? But yeah, I thought I noticed some little dots that seemed a little suspicious, moved a little bit different. So I think once again, those could be. And I didn't confirm because I was just looking, but I figured that was maybe coming from the fire, these little bits of stuff, and that's floating pretty high up. There's a looked like a bat or some sort of bird went by. But then somewhere around the trees, you start to notice another little dot, and it just takes off another way. Here we go. Boop. Just made like a right turn there. And that was like in the middle of the screen. And I'll just go ahead and let this play off to the end. And anyone interested in looking, you could play that back. I know the psionics is not the greatest, doesn't have the greatest quality of video. I like the purple, the look it has and everything. But to actually identify stuff, it's pretty hard. But it's a tool and we're using it for now. But yeah, some of that higher grade. I like that green look to the night vision. That's awesome. That like our buddy Stevie has one, but it does not have recording capabilities. But oh my goodness, it's got to be the best night vision I've ever seen. So this is again when I was tripping out. I was like, "What is this stuff?" And so I think that's coming from the little fire that's happening there. So that's that. I'm convinced. But at the time, I remember telling my buddy Jonathan, like, "Hey, dude, I'm seeing a bunch of weird stuff." I didn't know what it was, but when I played it back, figured it out. Anyway, so little some visuals there, some and who knows, I could be wrong. It's just that's what I'm guessing it was. But I thought it was like a flock of birds or something going by. I was like, what the hell are these, dude? So those I think are like mixture of birds. Some are birds, it looks like. Then again, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Y'all can be the judge. So yeah, uh weird stuff happened later on throughout this trip. That's when I had the light pop up on my tent, behind my tent. Also before that, I did notice, and I believe it was this night, we had gone up to the cell site because someone else was staying up there. So we went to go check in with them. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it was this night, is when I noticed a red orb, red orangish orb. That one looked like a fire ember. That's the end of that video there. That one looked like a fire ember and it was doing the like swiggly, weird, like jerky movements. I was like, whoa. And by the time I noted and thought about getting my camera out, it was just long gone. It had me stuck. I was like, damn, it got you. And that one floated towards the top of the trees. Like some trees were in the way. So what's up, Digger Dog? Welcome on in. Been hanging out here for a little while, man. Yeah, there's a mixture of bats, maybe nighthawks, ash. Yes, I did mention that. But like I said, there was one that made a little crazy. It stopped and made like a right turn and went like towards the back. Maybe I'll have to do a breakdown of it, but I'll go ahead and just show that for now. Let's see, BB says Digger Dog. I'm not sure what that is. And what's up, Juliana McGill? Welcome on in. We were just talking about. So, did you hear the homie Stephen Strufert? And I'm sure you may know who he is, or I don't know if you just jumped into the stream now, but I know you must know uh where Bigfoot Books was. Remember Willow Creek, 299 heading out of Willow Creek, next to Bigfoot Burger. He owned that. He passed away, and I'm not sure exactly the date, but I got word maybe a couple days ago, and he was part of Bluff Creek Project, and yeah, we just had some memories, shared some memories, and a few other things earlier in the stream. But I thought you should know as a Humboldt local, he was one of those Humboldt locals as well, and sure Digger Dog knew of Steven. I don't know if you ever met or stopped by Bigfoot Books, but I know you go up that way. And yeah, just, yeah, there we go. See, Digger Dog met Steven and bought a book from him. Right on. Yeah, I shared my book buying moment, and I was actually with my brother Stephen when we did that. And yeah, so cool. Shared a little video there. What else we got? Before we head on out. Yeah, damn, we're almost at 2 hours. Yeah, that's one of those day off streams. We get to hang out, chop it up. I do have so I need to work on getting like a remixing the audio for my intro. The beginning, we did the intro silently again, and we took advantage of that and gave Steven and all the other Bigfooters and people involved in the Bigfoot world that have transitioned this year a moment of silence. And there's Brett a ridge shot, man. Lick a shot. Yes, I. We got a shot. See, where's my gunshot? We gotta. Can we say that? I heard they're even cutting down on the. You can't even say like pew pew anymore. Like they're really. And I don't know if it's true, but Star Fox sent me a whole list of new YouTube rules, and I was like, dude, this can't be real, bro. Like, can't say anything. Here we go. I think this is it. Yeah, man, lick a shot. Let's see. You meant is he the guy who fell off the cliff? No, no, not Steven. Not Stephen Strufert. No, we're talking about so the 21-year-old, that was a youngster, and I heard he was from LA County as well. So he's from Los Angeles, the youngster 21-year-old who's been missing for about a month over on Mount Whitney. And also heard that his vehicle is still in the parking lot, that it's and I don't know if it's true or not. That's what over on Brian's Mysteries is what I heard, that his vehicle is still in the parking lot, and I guess due to the snow, they can't get it out either. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, so I think we'll wrap it up here. Let's see. Gotta think. Gotta think. Any other news? What else we got, Dwarf? Gotta make sure. Don't forget, because I will. I gotta look around too. I'm like, oh man. All right. Yeah, now let's wrap it up. Let's go get some dinner. Let's go. We're gonna do some grocery shopping tonight. Thank goodness. We need to get some food in the fridge here. Get some munchies going. We're gonna light a fatty after this one. Oh, yeah, this is what I could share for all the heads. We're sharing this. So it's a hash hole. Y'all could look up with that. Not Mel's hole. This is hash hole. You could look it up if you don't know what it is. And it's I still haven't figured out what MS is, but it's times sour peaches. And this guy came down from Alaska to enter a competition of who rolls the best hash holes. Video flagged. um, and the dude won. I gotta get his name again. My brother, he's buddies with my brother, and yeah, he swung by the shop to check it out and stuff, and we got to hang out outside of the shop as well. And so congratulations to him for winning. Heck yeah. And I got gifted one, so that's always sweet. And let's see here. We will just invent new words. Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I think I should have patented Google Chrome. I thought I started that one. I was like, oh, yeah, what else do we call this A Chrome everyone's talking about? I was like, oh, yeah, Google Chrome. Uh, but maybe not. Uh, but yeah, no, I'm pretty good. I think we're pretty good out here making up words. It's funny. Seems like the culture is always changing. Words are changing. We talked about what was the last one? Cap. Giant hip to the hop, but the youngsters are using the word cap, and we used to use it for many different things. right? But then nowadays I hear it's so if you're lying, they'll say, "Oh, cap. Oh, he's capping." So don't be capping. Yeah. So another one for the notes there, folks. Hopefully y'all were taking notes this stream. Thank goodness it's been a pretty smooth stream overall. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, everybody. And sorry to hear that. Yeah, early birds is an icon. Hmm. Is that where it was before? Is that what it used to be? I'm not sure what you mean by early bird is an icon location. But yeah, there was a whole backstory to that. And again, if you want to check out, there's probably some interesting details I was on off and on. But Sasquatch Secrets, I shared it out in the posts over on my posts, and nobody is sharing anything over there. And I always encourage you all to let's have a quick look, see what's happening around YouTube. I've noticed there has not been any chases lately, y'all. No speed chases, so that's really good on California. Some people get bummed out. They enjoy watching them, but no, that's a good thing. We don't need those things happening. So I'm kind of glad there hasn't been any. Kind of a streak here going on almost a week that I'm sure they're happening, but have not been broadcasted. Usually we like to take rides on the chopper and follow along with these things, but we're all here, says Barbara. We're all high here. Hey, okay, I heard that. And really, big letters, capital letters. Cheers to you, Barbara. Barbara, you have my sister's name. That's why I like your name. Shout out to my sister, wherever you may be. She's probably lurking. I know she be watching sometimes. Too cold or what? Says dead fish. All right, so I think it's a wrap. Or we could go 10 minutes. Who else? Anyone else on? Let's check the phone here. Gooseneck holder for my phone. Really been coming in handy. So let's see. Getting news. Plane crash, Mexico. 10 on board. That's just news. See, some of you are on live right now, so maybe we'll go hang out in your chat. All right, y'all. So have a great week. Hopefully, you're having a great start to the week. Thank you for hanging out. And let's get our outro going. Yeah, not too bad of a stream. I feel pretty good about it, y'all. So that's what's up. Here we go. Bit of a staring contest so they don't just cut our outro out. Peace out.